You're listening to the Known Legacy Podcast, brought to you by Known Legacy Ministries. For more information, go to knownlegacy.org. Now here's your hosts, Bill and Travis.
Good morning.
Morning, Bill.
Good morning, Travis. How are you doing?
Gorgeous day out today.
It is really pretty out.
Spring in full swing here in DFW, and it is just fantastic. Kyle in the corner, thank you so much.
Hello.
For letting us invade your sacred space here on the back patio.
My pleasure.
It is good. Man, we're excited about today. We're excited about the conversation with Jay and Epic Warrior and all the great things that they do for firefighters and police officers and the gospel and the good news of Jesus Christ and the healing they bring. And, man, we just, as always, we want you to wake up, gear up, and come alive because we believe that God has so much more in store for you than just trying to fight against sin. It is about living on this amazing mission that he has for us. As always, you can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. If you like it, fantastic. Give us a rating if you want to share it. That always helps out the algorithms. And as always, if you ever come across one of the shorts that Bill's putting out, man, do us a favor. Give us a thumbs up. Share it on your own page, and just help get the word out of what God's doing through Known Legacy. The men's retreats, the speaking that Bill has a chance to do, and the book. You can get all that information on knownlegacy.org. And if you have questions, comments, concerns, or you want to submit something for the question of the day, info at Known Legacy, or in the comments below, wherever you're seeing this or listening to this, those work as well.
Yeah, and we also have a men's study we do every single Thursday morning at 6:45. We will put a link below in that as well. We want you to stay connected to other men and, man, help you wake up, gear up, and come alive to who God called you to. So that is one of our main starts. Make sure you do that. Correct. As well as, follow the links if you're interested in the book. We'd love to have you be a part of that. But, man, you are in a chipper mood today, Travis.
You know, it's the weekend past Easter, so the long journey to Easter has been completed, and much success. Much success. Woo! I want to make sure we have that word in there, success. And God's been good, man. So it's just
we
good
are not
to be
perfect in our diction.
Presence, man.
So that's great. That's awesome.
So, anyways, let's get to it. Question of the day.
Question of the day.
For this came out of nowhere, except that sometimes you covet. Sometimes you covet.
I'm still talking about your slip up there.
You know what happens.
We're like two 13-year-olds. Yeah. That's really what it is.
By the way, have you ever heard about spooning words? Spooning words where like you take the first letter and the first letter of two words and you flip them on accident?
No.
Anyway, so it's something that I do from time to time.
Okay.
Probably a result of my dyslexia or whatever.
That's okay.
Anyways, I had a group of about 20 high school kids, and we had just finished an event. And we were all going to go out to eat afterwards, right?
Okay.
And so I hit the parking lot, and I'm all fired up because it was just one of those great events.
Yeah.
And we're going to go to a hamburger place.
Okay.
Called Fuddruckers.
Oh, dear goodness.
And I spooned those two words, two letters, and I'm in the middle of the parking lot, and I, from the top of my voice, says, "Who's ready to go to Red?"
Oh, dear goodness.
And every kid just stopped. And I'm like, you will not mention this to your parents? Ever. This is never going to be mentioned to your parents.
Oh, dear goodness.
And, of course, every parent on the next Sunday, they're like, so you all went to Rudd? And I'm like, no.
Back away.
I love the church sometimes.
Oh, man, gotta love it.
I hate it sometimes and I love it. But anyways, I drove over one of the many lakes that we have in the DFW area, and I saw some people out there on boats. And in my covetous spirit, I was like, man, I'd love a boat. I mean, I don't have time for a boat. I would never do anything with a boat, but man, I would love a boat. And so the question today is, if you could buy a boat, what would you buy? Would you buy a speedboat that you could take the wakeboarders and the skiers behind? Would you buy a fishing boat and while away the hours? Would you buy a pontoon boat, or would you buy a sailing boat? That is the question of the day.
Ooh, okay, I'll go first. I think I would do like a speedboat, because I feel like I could do some of those same things on a speedboat. Like, I want to say pontoon, but I just would be too bored for too long, because you get out there and you're on a piece of metal where the heat is all day, and you're like, I'm
AstroTurf melting to your
feet. I'm on the water, but not really in the water, and I'm dying. And then I look at the water, I'm like, I don't really want to be in that water.
Okay, so you and I have the same vision of what a pontoon boat used to be, like a little 75 Johnson on the back, and the top is 5 knots or whatever. I don't know why you use a nautical term there. Like, I know what 5 knots is.
It's like 5 knots.
Well,
it's probably probably like 600 miles an hour. You're like, we're only going 5 knots. Someone's like, these guys are idiots. We're like, yes, we are.
Yes. But anyways, and so I went up and visited a buddy of mine like 10 years ago. Yep. And he's like, hey, let's take a ride on the pontoon boat. I'm like, okay. So I get a cigar and I'm sitting up front on the pontoon boat, and enjoying the day. And he gets out of kind of the inlet and he gets out in the middle of the lake. He goes, hey, hold your head on. I'm about to floor it. And I'm thinking, this has a 75, right?
You're only going to go 3 knots.
Right. He floors it, and we are going 40 in this tri-tune, right?
Ooh.
It's a tri-tune. I look back, and it's got a 250 on the back. Now, since then, he's upgraded, and he's got two 75 horsepower motors on his tri-tune, and that thing can go 60 on the water. It is fantastic. So mine's a tri-tune with...
So now that I was always thinking like, just sitting on the dock of the that kind of like for like a pontoon. I would probably do a pontoon as well then.
Roll away.
If I could still like tow somebody on one of those.
Oh yeah, you can.
Like then that would be, I would go pontoon.
You just don't have the cool wake that you can do all the tricks and everything. But at our age, we're not doing any tricks. I'm holding on.
I'm barely just trying to get out of bed in the mornings. Okay,
right, so Kyle, how about you?
What about you, boat expert?
I would probably. I'm gonna go with the pontoon too because I think you can do everything else on it.
Yes.
Right.
And you can have a grill on the back. If you get the right one, you can be barbecuing while fishing and towing someone on a lake.
Which goes back to our main thing: food matters. Food matters.
Welcome to the Known Legacy Food Podcast. We're happy you're here today.
We did this last time. The 2 fat guys on the radio. There we go, man. Well, we do have a guest today who might be able to give us an answer to this. Jay Mayo of Epic Warrior. We're so glad to have you on today.
What's up, guys?
Man, we are so pumped to have you, man. So you yourself, are you a boat guy? And if you were, what kind of boat would you get?
I'm not really a boat guy. But my son-in-law, my grandkids, they love fishing. So I probably, you almost got me talked into the pontoon. But I was thinking bass boat.
Yes.
They love to do that. But maybe if we had the whole family, it'd be a great family time on the pontoon. And I'm the same way with Travis. I didn't know until recently. I had a friend that had one, and he had 3, I don't even know what size engine. And that thing, you could ski off of it and everything. So
that's crazy.
Maybe but I think I go with the bass boat because my son-in-law is a big fisherman, and we'd go out there and probably have a good time, use it more. Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know, man. Fishing, I've yet to have a good time fishing. Maybe it's because I talk too much and I get skunked every single time. Yeah, everyone around me is catching everything, and I'm like, I got nothing. But they do give me a bobber with a worm at the end, so that might be part of the problem.
Here, Travis, you go over here. Here, buddy, here's a coloring book for you. You have fun. Yeah. Just keep looking at that bobber.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, is it done yet? It's got my bobber. Oh, that's a wave. That's a wave. Never mind.
They give me a loaf of bread to put it on the treble hook, As soon as it hits the water, the bread just dissipates, but they don't tell me. So I'm like, oh, this is great. 3 hours later, sunburnt. This is
You're
amazing.
making a peanut butter and sandwich.
Right.
Anyways, Jay, we're so glad to have you back on the podcast, man. It's been a long time, been a couple of years.
Yeah.
And, man, we wanted to get you on to just kind of update what's been happening with Epic Warrior. And, man, all those things. We will put a link to Epic Warrior in the bottom. But, man, I love what you're doing. As we had our conversation a couple weeks ago, I'm like, I got to get this guy on the podcast again. So share a little bit about your story for the guys who don't know who you are, and then what you've done with Epic Warrior.
Yep.
Okay. I have to say, first of all, I was nervous listening to the intro because I thought this must be a podcast about sex, diction, and spooning.
I know. He said spoon, and that threw me off. I was like, bro, come on, man.
He said sex, and you said diction, then I got derailed. Then he started talking about spooning, and I'm like, man, is this NC-17? What? Anyway, sorry.
Welcome to Deep Dive with Known.
If you'd like to apply for the open co-host position.
You almost said ho-coast. What's going on here?
I know.
We're just a mess today.
All right.
Wow. Yeah, we'll make sure that we put the proper rating in this one. So, sorry, man.
You need to have the guy pushing the beep button. Evidently. Bleep, 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 bleep. It's like a session of Orange County Chopper.
Post production.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're just an episode of Orange County Choppers. That's all we are.
He can actually dub in words like, today we're going to talk about the Lord.
The Lord.
And Rudd.
Jesus, Chen.
Yeah, Rudd farters.
I hate you all. I hate you all.
Rudd farters. Oh, man.
Okay, I'm sorry to get off track. But you remember we were talking the other day about V-chips? Remember the day that we had these things you put on your TV that cut out the cussing?
Yes.
Remember those V-chips or something? We had one that would actually replace words. And but it was so hilarious because it was just random, like Rudd farters instead of, Anyway, I got to get back on track. Sorry.
Oh, we love it. We're loving this. This is our mind. Welcome to our brain. So,
what was the original question?
I don't know. We've had a great time. Thanks for watching today. I wanted you to just kind of update people of where you were, who you are to our new listeners, and then kind of your ministry, Epic Warrior, and what it does.
Yeah, Bill and I have known each other for a long time, served together in church ministry, and so I had spent most of my life in a lot of different environments, church planning, discipleship groups over the years, 35 or 40 years. And then really kind of just along that path the whole time, I did chaplain work. I did chaplain work also, and some of that was in hospice world, but some of that was also in first responder world. And then I shifted in late in the church ministry to be pastor of counseling, and I ended up having just a lot of interactions with first responders, primarily at that point, police officers who'd been through critical incidents, and my relationships with the local police department, they would just holler and go, "Hey, can you talk to a guy? He doesn't want to use the department counselor or whatever. He kind of wants it to be under the radar." And I'm sure. And I just began to kind of build this relationship where I ended up talking to a lot of police officers who've been through critical incidents, shootings, car accidents, different scenes that just stuck with them. And along that whole time, I was finishing my counseling degree because I needed more clinical training, shifting over that position in the church, and ended up doing some training also in a trauma therapy called EMDR, which is another conversation, but it's very prominent in the first responder world to help them process critical incidents. And so all that just began to unexpectedly come in front of me. And I remember thinking to myself, someone should do something about these guys. Man, they're warriors, men and women that are warriors. And they the average person will see one or two traumatic incidents in their lifetime. In an average career of a first responder, that's 600 to 700. So it affects them spiritually, mentally, emotionally. It affects all the relationships, this interaction with traumatic scenes and critical incidents. So I remember thinking there should be more, that someone should do more. These departments should do more. I mean, how come they can't do more? And one day I was like, okay, maybe I should just try to do something. And that was kind of the birth of Epic Warrior. Me thinking I was going to start this ministry or this nonprofit for first responders to try to help them work through critical incident situations. And so that's kind of how it was born. It's gone in so many diverse directions these days. I have a kind of threads in multiple areas that I can update you on whenever you want me to. But yeah, that's kind of the birth of Epic Warrior. I don't even know how many years ago we started it, and we did 3 main goals. It was trying to get to the third, but we were like to provide funding for a lack of equipment and gear to keep them safe. So that was kind of an entry point. Is there any gear we could begin to fundraise to help you have to keep you safe as you go out and serve and protect? Second was training. Is there any training you could do that your department can't afford, like the best training to keep you safe? And then third, could we come alongside your department and be available to either A, provide critical incident counseling, or B, pay for you to go to the closest partnering that's a counselor that's familiar with first responders that does critical incident counseling. So, and you don't, your department doesn't have to know. We'll pay for it, keep it off the record so that you can get the help you need. So that was the kind of birth of the 3 goals.
Wow.
So,
you mentioned that this guy wanted to talk to you because he didn't want to talk to the counselor that was hired by the department. And I would love to find out more about that. What is the stigma? Because I got a few family members that are in firefighting and things of that nature. And what is the hurdle that keeps guys or gals from reaching out to the counselor that's paid for in-house?
It's a great question. I think it's getting better, but like the dilemma is if you say, number one, you have to say to someone, your supervisor or your who you directly report to, hey, I'm struggling and I need some help. And so it's getting so much better, but there's so much more ground that needs to be taken. There's still this sense that, hey, I'm unaffected by this. It means to be tough. I'm unaffected by critical incidents. I don't need any help. So it's first of all having to say to someone, can I use our EAP? Can I get help? And they don't want to do that. They don't want anyone to know that they're struggling.
Right.
And so secondly, I don't think this is a reality, but I have this conversation with guys all the time that they're afraid that counselor is going to talk to their chief or their captain or whatever. And so they want it to be confidential. I'm like, I promise you it'll be confidential. They're not reporting, but they have this stigma that if I start sharing what's going on, they're going to communicate with my supervisor. Third, and probably I think the most prevalent is if I share that I'm not doing fine, will they take me off the front line? Will they say, hey, why don't you take a break? And here's the weird thing. You may think that's the best thing for them, and it may be to some degree, but it's the only constant in their life. Like when they're out there protecting and serving on the front line, it's the one time they can set aside all these thoughts that they can't deal with because they could just go to work. So they don't want to be pulled off the front line. And sometimes that happens where you kind of, make a plea for help and they're like, well, why don't we put you back on desk duty? And so they just need that normalcy of being out in the middle of that. Now, the sad part is it just stacks the trauma on, if they're in a high stress environment, it just keeps stacking it on. But those are the 3 main things. And so most of the time they'll maybe communicate with their direct supervisor and they'll say, but I don't want anyone to know, I just need some help. And they would end up reaching out to me or Epic Warrior and just saying, I'm not going to report to anyone. Right. And if it's a financial issue, which is why you would use your normal EAP through work, they're going to pay for you 6 or 8 sessions. But they would say, I can't pay for it. I'm like, don't worry about it. We'll pay for it. We'll connect you with some counselors. Yeah. And so anyway, that's the 3 things we've realized keep someone. They're still working on making it a better environment, but supervisors have to take the lead in all those situations to say, hey, that was a tough call. That affected me. What about you guys? And just normalize. You see things that you shouldn't see.
Right. Yeah, right.
And it's not normal. It's normal for you to feel some sense of, impact from, especially with children. They have a lot with children, or a critical incident where there's a shooting, you have to take a life. So it's normal. That's normal to feel that way. And anyway, that's primarily the reasons.
So I think there's sometimes we can learn really valuable lessons in the extremes, and you're dealing with guys and gals that are living in the extreme, right? They're facing evil within our culture in ways that we can't even imagine or begin to imagine. But I'd wager to bet there's some things that you've learned that could be applicable to a guy that's maybe listening that realizes that he has some trauma in his life that he's never processed through. Where would you encourage him to begin? Hey, listen, first off, you're not alone. Second off, keeping it inside, pushing it down, pretending like everything's okay is never going to bring healing. What would you say to that guy that's listening that's like, man, it's time. I got to process through this trauma, whatever it was, whenever it was, it's time. I got to process through. What would you tell that guy?
And you're talking about just any guy, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think the first thing I would say is we've long kind of lived under this misconception that big T trauma is the only thing that affects you. That meaning like, well, I've never been a police officer in a shooting, or I haven't, I'm in the fire department now. I haven't ever been on a terrible scene where I saw dismemberment or death. And you think it's only big T trauma, but the reality is they're finding out that little T traumas, experiences, loss, disappointment can create the same impact. So I would first of all say, to everyone listening, guys, like it doesn't have to be some dramatic thing in your mind for you to acknowledge this really hurt and affected me. So give yourself a break. All of those things affect us. But first of all, I would say, the first step is to just realize that I need some support in this, and to kind of push against the shame of the enemy, like suck it up. And so I would say friendships first and foremost are a great place to start. Sometimes we don't know what to say to one another, but just opening up and talking about something to someone you trust that cares about you, and telling them, I don't need you to fix me, I just need to talk about this, is the first step. And then, professional counseling, trained counselors that kind of understand trauma are just such a great asset to be able to access and be able to work through it on a variety of different therapy models. But just give yourself grace and say, it doesn't have to be some incredibly traumatic incident for you to feel like this thing hangs on and bugs me and messes up my relationships and the way I live in everyday life. You can't keep ignoring those things because they're just it's like an open wound. Yeah.
I love the response to that. Is I'm not putting it in the same realm, but man, so many pastors are lonely.
Right.
And then the first thought is they fall into a sin, and they're like, well, then somebody removes them from the thing that they love the most, ministry. And then you're like, so then go and fix yourself and come back. And man, maybe there's a need for that. There might be a moment for that, but I love that there's at least, this idea of building trust and building relationship is so important for them to then maybe, Scripture says a soft answer turns away wrath. So maybe as the 6, 8, 10 sessions go in, it's like, hey, maybe I do need some counseling outside of this. Maybe I do need some healing, but you're right. I feel like it becomes so just formularized. Like, okay, this trauma happened, you're out. Now you're just staring at the blank wall. You don't know what to do. I can almost feel like that could be more damaging than keeping them in the line,
right?
And still doing some kind of normalcy,
right?
Have you seen so because you guys have been how long have you been doing Epic Warrior for?
Man,
it's been
that's
years.
A great question. I don't know. Maybe 7 or 8 years.
Yeah,
I've been back here since 2018, so probably was,
almost 8 years.
Yeah, so probably 8 years. That's a good question.
What has been one of the biggest takeaways you've had so far doing this, that you would share with someone who's not a first responder? Because I look at those guys and I'm like, you guys are heroes. You're doing all this, but what is someone that the quote unquote normal person can do to support those guys on the day in, day out?
Man, they're just a different breed of people. But I would think appreciation, I would think first and foremost is just, there's so much negative impact for, the 1 out of a million first responders that is a bad apple, just like in anything, pastors, whatever, leaders. But this kind of whole defund the police, all of this ridiculous stuff has created this attitude or feeling from a first responder that I go and put my life on the line every day. I experience all this critical incident stuff. It affects my family mentally. It messes me up. And then to feel in the day-to-day that society's against them, that society's criticizing. So I would say simple appreciation. I try to make a point every time I interact with law enforcement in my day-to-day, but just go shake their hand and say, thank you for what you do. Thanks for putting your life on the line to protect and save. I think that appreciation is all they need. They don't really, there's not really another avenue for the average day-to-day person to, but that makes the difference because it just reassures them that day people are for us and not against us. So I would say that's a huge one.
No, that's good.
That's huge.
So what's next for you? Like what's on the horizon for Epic Warrior and kind of where you're at with it?
Well, again, it's just merged and shifted over the years because the hardest part for us with Epic Warrior has been how do you get into those departments? There's a trust level in the first responder community, and there's this kind of whole this guy's he's going to fix everybody, this whole. So we've had a hard time. We've done multiple different gear or training provided that for departments as kind of a way to get our name in there to say, if you ever need us for critical incident counseling. So we've done a lot of gear and equipment things to try to build relationships, but we ended up thinking, like, I don't want to just be a fundraiser for equipment. And so some of that has been me personally connecting with different avenues for critical incident counseling. So since we started Epic Warrior, that's where all these other threads have come up, become a part of chaplain support in a organization called Texas Line of Duty Task Force. And any line of duty death, fire, or police department, this organization comes alongside the families, and then we may do critical incident counseling with departments. So I've gotten connected to multiple different departments to come in and say, hey, can you come and help us? My serving in Parks and Wildlife as a chaplain also was another thread of that, where I would come alongside game wardens and state police. But that was also the thread that led me to get deployed to the whole Uvalde school incident for 14 days. And that was terrific. Another one is there's a organization called Post-Critical Incident Seminar. It's sponsored by LEMIT. That's a law enforcement organization out of, I think, San Marcos. And so I'm a part of these critical incident seminars where they bring first responders that have just gone through a critical incident to a 3-day retreat, and they get counseling and one-on-one, like we're not alone. They have great small group environments. So I serve as a chaplain and support to that too. So those threads have emerged for Epic Warrior rather than us trying to get in there. It's become the background organization that can fund opportunities through these organizations for me to go and do critical incident counseling or just help that organization put their retreat on. Then the other fourth thing, I know I'm talking a lot, but
no, you're good.
4 years ago, this whole midnight call with God, I'm sitting there like, how can Epic Warrior be more of an impact? How can I make a difference in first responders? And I'm sitting up in the middle of the night one night, and I think about John chapter 1, where, Jesus, he became flesh and dwelt among them, and the Lord just said, just go be one of them. Go be with them. And I was like, well, what do you, and at that point I was trying to break into fire departments for the same thing, but they're so hard. Again,
yes,
it's a closed community. And so I was like, well, what do you mean? Like just go be, I think I'd heard of volunteer fire departments, but in my mind it wasn't present and up front. And I just go be a firefighter. And so that night I got online and searched local volunteer fire departments and put an application in. And within a few months, I was doing an interview with the county fire department out here and stepped into that whole realm. And now I'm shoulder to shoulder at times with our municipal department, fighting fires with them. Went to fire academy to become a state commissioned firefighter, EMT, so that now I'm just in it day to day.
Right.
And I have more conversations with, obviously, firefighters as we're a fire department, but with the municipal, EMS, sheriff's department, PD that's on scene, and I built relationships with them on scene that opens the door for me to just support it indirectly by having friendships and relationships with these people, and then being in the first responder community myself. So it's kind of spider webbed out a lot.
That's good.
Yeah.
I love it. And as we're wrapping up, one of the questions I have is, I love your little, like, just be appreciative and let them know. What would you say? Let's say there's a church, or there's someone at a church that's like, you know what? We have firefighters, we have police departments, and they'll always show up when the alarm goes off. How can churches or small groups really invest in either a firehouse or the police department in a tangible way that lets them know that they're known, that they're prayed for, and that there's people in that community that have their back? What would be some practical things that maybe a church could engage in to make that impact?
Yeah.
Man, a really, really meaningful and simple, practical thing is the church I'm a part of has done this for years, but I would just say pick a time every year and create these like first responder snack boxes. Like we did I think we did it with the schools here, but the same way we just say, all right, every station, every fire station, don't forget dispatch. They're huge for dispatch. All the police departments and sheriff's offices, and create these giant gift boxes that are filled with snacks, because those shifts are crazy, and they're always like healthy snacks and different kind of things, everything from, vitamin C packets, but create these big bags and a note, and just deliver those in person, split up with the group in your church and deliver them to Fire Station 5, and just come in and say, man, we appreciate you guys. Thank you for everything you do. We just have a gift box here that has all kind of snacks. And that right there is a tangible way they're going to snack off that, eat off that, but they know one-on-one
that's cool.
who you're from. So that's a cool way.
Like every church should be doing this. Like
I know.
Every week they should be getting a gift basket from one of the churches in the community, and it's just a simple way to do it. And so churches, man, if you're a member of a church, figure out a way to make it happen, and just that is like the easiest thing that can make the biggest impact for these guys and gals that are going out there sacrificing in crazy ways, missing numerous holidays. They may not even have time or bandwidth to be a part of a church, but we need to know they need to know the church is for them.
Yeah.
And at any time we got their backs. I love it. I think it's a great way to do it. And Reclaimed Church, if you're listening, this is going to be on our summer to-do list for sure.
That's awesome. I love it.
Showing up with barbecue or something for a meal too, because most people don't know they pay for all their own food. You've seen at the grocery store, they're not putting that on the fire department tab. They all pitch in and pay for all their meals. And so if you showed up to one fire station and said, A, B, or C shift, hey, we want to bring barbecue one night. What time do you guys eat supper? Number one, it saves them having to pay for a meal. But we've done that where we're showing up with barbecue. How many guys and what time? And it's just they're just so appreciative of practical things like that.
I think that's the sixth love language, barbecue.
Yes, I think it is.
I definitely think that's the sixth
definitely
love
the sixth
language.
love language.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially in Texas here. I mean, it definitely is like,
if it's good barbecue.
Exactly.
If it's bad, leave it at home. Leave it on the pit. Don't even bring it out.
Yeah.
No, this has been great, man. I love it. And I do think there's such a need, and you're right, a lot of times we see this. I mean, there's something tangible we need to do. So, no, loving hearing this update. Grateful to have you on again, man. Any final thoughts before we move into the Fast Five? Anything that you would like to share, or, about whether it's to a first responder who's listening, or whether it's just to somebody else? Anything else you'd like to share?
This is close to my heart now. There's over 70% of firefighters in the United States are volunteer. Most people don't know that.
Wow.
Roughly about 800,000 firefighters in the United States are volunteer. And so I would just say, you drive by them all the time. You don't realize in the small towns and counties, even like in our area, there's 2 county volunteer fire departments. So I would say, consider your volunteer firefighters. They get up and protect and serve. A lot of them run EMS. They're a completely self-funded first responder community I never knew existed until I stepped into it. So I would just say that, yeah.
And volunteer, boys. If you need a little adventure in your life, Get trained, volunteer, help share the burden and the load for sure. Make it happen, and play with all the cool toys.
Oh, it's so. When you pull up on a fire scene with driving a fire truck, and it's just like your boyhood dream. Like, just go get some, man.
I love it.
It's like, Jay, we don't need the Jaws of life tonight, but you can try it. You can use it. You know?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Just running around with Jaws of life.
Exactly.
Where do I need it? Where do you need it?
Let me breach the door.
It's a grass fire. I don't care. Is there a tree? Oh, man. Dude, this has been great, man. Thank you.
Jay, good to have you on,
so
man.
Good,
Thank you.
Well, dude, we're moving into our Fast Five segment. There it is. Hey, man, you like that? Yeah, exactly. Every time.
Cool.
It's a lot of fun. These guys, my ADD kicks in. I love that little Zoom, and Kyle found that for us. Thank you, Kyle, for your wisdom and ingenuity. That's the word. All right, hey, question number 1. If you could tell people to support a cause or a ministry, what would it be and why?
Well, other than Known Legacy, which is
good call.
Good
important. Call.
Or Epic Warrior.
Yes.
That's what I just said.
Yes.
Support your local fire department. Give a donation. They're all donation supported. They protect and serve, come out in all hours of the night with full-time jobs. So check out a volunteer fire department and support them.
Love it.
Awesome.
Love it.
Awesome. Dude, if you could describe legacy with one word or phrase, what would it be?
Love. I think love.
Love it.
Nailed it.
So good. So much wisdom in this. If you had to change careers, what would you change it to?
Man, I think I'd do full-time what I do on the extra right now, and be critical incident counselor in first responder community, which is what I do, but I'd love to do it all the time.
It's awesome that God has you right where He wants you and what he wired you for, man. That's fantastic.
Well, and we're not even getting into the full wisdom of Jay. Like, I'm a little biased, but he's one of the best preachers I've ever heard. I'm not joking. This guy can preach, man. Oh, stop. You're amazing. So, I mean, to have him there in front of these guys hearing truth, solid. So, if you're in Midland, I know that he preaches on the Stonegate Fellowship and their team, as needed. And, man, just a blessing. His wisdom is far above how he looks.
Love it.
Wait a second.
Wait a minute.
Wait a second.
Which leads us into our most important Fast Five, which is, what is your go-to fruit if you had to pick one?
Well, in light of some of the ways the conversation started, I would say a banana.
Oh.
Just going to leave it at that.
We're just going to move on to number 5. Oh, dear goodness.
We're all going to get fired.
We're going to stand there, and the Lord's going to be like, Jay, Kyle, Travis, Bill, get over here. Right here.
Yeah.
Episode 280. What's going on here? I was like, sorry, Lord. We just had a lot of fun. He's like, you're idiots. Come on in. Good thing you're covered by the blood. It's like, thank you, Jesus.
Yes.
So,
thank you, Jesus.
All right, number 5. What do you want to be remembered for by those closest to you?
Man, I have 3 phrases I do terrible at, but I try to live out. It's meant to love boldly, to serve humbly, and to give generously. And if I could be remembered like with those 3 things, I feel like I've left an impact.
Awesome.
That's fantastic.
I love it. Guys, we're going to put a link down below for Epic Warrior. Make sure you click that link, follow it, support it. If you want to give, man, I know that Jay is making a difference in the lives of first responders, so make sure that you are, man, if you find a place, where do I start? Start there.
Yep.
And then, we'll obviously have links for all of our stuff for our men's Bible study.
Yep.
But Jay, we are so grateful to have you on today. Thank you so much for your time. And guys, thank you so much for watching. Do us a favor. If you like it, share it. If you don't like it, share it and still lie to your friends. But we'd love to have you be a part. We want to build this community of men who want to wake up, gear up, and come alive. Travis, final thoughts?
Get involved in the adrenaline shot on Thursday mornings. No better time than now, and serve your local firefighters and police department.
Awesome.
Get after it. God bless.
Have a great week, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Known Legacy Podcast. We'd love to hear from you. So email us your questions or comments to info@knownlegacy.org.